unlimited access right across the VAFA women's competition.
Billy Fraser-Smith, have your moment. Gets it again. Fraser-Smith, there's two.
Sheehan picks it up. Can she kick a goal? She snapped it from the boundary.
All thanks to Mequicare, a proud partner of the VAFA.
Gets around one, handball over to Joyce. She'll snap again. It's going to go through.
Trying to get her hands over it, got a little bit of a runner on it. Can it get a boot? Does. How do you do?
Welcome to Inside the Boundary.
Oh my Lord.
Hello everyone and welcome to Inside the Boundary, the official podcast of the VAFA women's competition. We're here all thanks to Mequicare. We are on the doorstep of St Kevin's taking on Old Scotch in the William Buck Premier Women's Grand Final this weekend. Joe Pignataro is my name. Looking forward to unpacking what happened on the weekend and looking forward to a massive Grand Final where St Kevin's are staring down the barrel of a fourth straight title. Can you believe that? As I say hello to you, Jason Bennett, and you, Paddy Grinley.
Hello, Joey. It feels like the grand final we were destined to have, doesn't it? We've been talking about these two teams all year. They've been absolutely outstanding, locked together at 17-1. They're 5 games clear of the field, and their only losses have been to each other. So you put it together and you just think all year long, I think from the very first time we started talking William Buck Premier Women's at the very start of the year, these two teams were clear standouts. So it's wonderful. They've both won through to what should be an epic grand final.
Hello, Jason, Joey. Yeah, and also the percentage. So St Kevin's are sitting at 300 during the regular season, 355%. They are double the third place team, which was at 175. So that's how far these two are ahead of the rest of the competition. Cannot wait for this contest.
And living proof, by the way, that on the weekend just gone, very similar to a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, Caulfield have finished third again. St Kevin's did a number on them. It might have been 12 months ago, or 2 years ago, my apologies, 80-something points. And Sarah Cameron, who's going to join us very shortly, she kicked 6 and had a day out in the prelim. Scotch have done very similar on the weekend. The margin not as great, but for about the third or fourth time in a final, Millie Fraser-Smith's name is right at the top.
Yeah, they've just, look, both these teams have got experience, they've got talent, they've got a blend of youth and experience, which is obviously so important when it comes to big games at that end of the year. They know each other so well. They've both got a win over each other this year, so both of them know that if they play well enough, they're good enough to knock off the opposition. So it's going to be very much a case of execution. Who executes better on the weekend? They know what each other's game plans are going to be. It's just going to come down to who does it better.
This is Inside the Boundary, the official women's podcast of the Amos competition. We're here all thanks to Mequicare. Now, I've been demanding this since midway through the year, Jace. You said, let's do a few Inside the Boundaries together. And I said, well, there's only one person in the Amos women's competition I want to speak to. And that's Sarah Cameron, who's gone back to St Kevin's after trying her hand at VFLW last year with Williamstown. And finally, Jace, you've delivered for me. It's the only request I had all year, is I want to speak to Sarah Cameron.
I've kept you waiting.
Oh, have you ever?
What a game this promises to be, Sarah. It's so wonderful to have you on the line.
Oh, we've got Sarah.
Sarah Cameron is joining us. Surprise, Joey. Surprise. Sarah Cameron joins us ahead of the grand final this week in William Buck Premier Women's at St Kevin's versus Old Scotch, Sunday, 2:30 down at Elstonwick Park. You can see the game live on Community TV and vafa.com.au. Sarah, thanks so much for your time.
No, thank you for having me. Always good fun to talk to you guys.
Well, these two teams, you and the Cardinals, have been locked together at 17-1, 5 games clear of the field. So for much of the season, it sort of felt like this was almost inevitable, this grand final. Your only losses have been to each other. It's been quite the rivalry this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been an awesome rivalry. We have a lot of respect for them as well. But no, it's been a couple of interesting games. I don't really think any of them have really gone the same way either. It'll be really interesting to see what happens on Sunday.
St Kevin's by 14 points in round 9 at home. Old Scotch by 5 points in round 17 at home. They then met in the second semi-final. Old Scotch held St Kevin's goalless in the first half, led by 3 goals early in the third term, before St Kevin's kicked the next 5 goals, Joey, to ultimately win by 8 points and progress straight through to the grand final. Sarah, when you were 3 goals down early in that third quarter, that's a fantastic turnaround from your side.
Yeah, no, it was a really good effort by the girls to get up and about in the third quarter, but we sort of felt like we started playing the way we wanted to in the second. They had the breeze, and I think they only scored in the last 5 or 10 minutes. So we definitely knew that we started to follow the process a bit better and get a bit more grunt around the ball and probably trust the process a bit more. So we kind of felt the game turning, even though the scoreboard didn't say that. So it would be hard to believe, but the vibes were really positive at halftime. Everyone was very up and about. We could sort of feel that we started playing the way we wanted to. So it might have been a surprise to everyone what happened in the third quarter, but I think we still held a fair bit of inner belief that was the way the game was going to go if we could turn it on.
It's not a surprise to me that the game played out the way it did. Now, 12 months ago, Josh Herriot and myself broadcast St Kevin's grand final against Kew, and we actually spoke to you, Sarah, at half time. I think you were in Darwin when the grand final was being played, and it was a very similar sort of scoreline. In fact, Kew had kept St Kevin's not completely scoreless, but to a low score in the first half, and then Kate Stanton set it alight in the third quarter. It's almost like you guys know, regardless of who is out on the park, that if you want to beat St Kevin's in any era, Sarah, you've got to play the full 100 minutes of the game.
Yeah, 100%, Joey. And that's something we're really proud of. We sort of know that we have that record, and so whenever we're down at halftime, we have that belief that the third and fourth quarter are probably where we're able to turn the game even more. But yeah, I mean, leaders lead. So Kate Stanton, Jess Joyce, Bridor, all those sorts of people, they sort of know when the game needs to be turned on, and they just put their head over it and they get the job done. But not only that, I mean, like, we've got such good depth, and the girls, even the voice, it's coming for everyone now. Maybe in the first couple of years there was 4 or 5, but the spread we've got to the field and the group effort and just sort of the trust and love that everyone has for one another. I think that's what's really special about us, and that's what lets us go for 4 quarters. And that's what lets us sort of, turn the game when it might seem from the outset that we're a little bit in a tough spot, I'd say.
Now, that piece you just spoke about, the connection, the voice, the leadership, is that the reason that you decided at the start of this year you were going to go back and play another season with St Kevin's?
Oh, it's pretty hard to leave that club. I mean,
Yes.
I said to you last year it would be pretty tempting to go back if they won the flag, even if they didn't. But no, I actually had a knee injury that I had at the end of last season that needed a bit of rehabbing, and just with the pressure getting back to VFL, I just sort of didn't want that playing on my mind as well. I've never had a long-term injury, and that was my first, so definitely just wanted to take my time and find the love for footy again. And I knew the VAFA was the sort of safest place to do that. But yeah, it definitely wasn't an easy decision to leave Willie either.
You mentioned Stanton, Joyce, Doyle, those sort of stalwarts of the Saints that we've been speaking about for a couple of years. How has this group evolved? Because you guys are consistently at the peak of the wave as far as women's footy in the VAFA is concerned. Who are some of the younger players who have joined and are taking you to the next level?
Definitely. So we've had a few young players. Holly Keneally, who plays in the forward line with me, she's a weapon. She's got really clean hands. I don't know if there are many that are better than her at overhead marking. And she brings a really new energy to the group as well. Hannah Smith has come down, and she's been awesome, powerful on the wing and up forward. Who else have we got? We've got a couple of VFL players that have come as well that are pretty young. Tess Cattle, Annabelle Embleton. But I think it's just more so when you get to Scob, whether you're from VFL, under 18s, you're coming from another club, I think we set a pretty good standard of culture, and I think you're picked in the team and you're accepted by the team if you show that teammate first sort of attitude and you bring a good vibe to training, you bring a good vibe to game day. And everyone that joins the group sort of slots into that pretty quickly. So, yeah, there definitely have been some individuals that have come through that have been massive for us, but pretty much anyone who joins, they bring their own sort of unique addition to the group, and we love that. And it's worked really well.
No secrets between these two teams. It'll be the 4th time you've met this year, and obviously you've been eyeing each other off from a distance, knowing that they're the most likely opposition. For you, Sarah, do you get the same matchup every time, or do they keep throwing different options at you to try and switch things up down back?
It's been a bit of a weird one. I had, I think, Millie Fraser-Smith potentially in my first game, who's actually a midfielder or a forward that came back on me. I could be wrong. I could have got the wrong person. And then I had Nadia on me on the weekend, but I'm pretty sure she's in Europe.
Yeah, she is. Nadia von Berto.
Who goes to Europe in the middle of footy
misses
season
the
at the
grand
end
final.
of the...
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, boy.
Crazy.
Oh, well,
The ultimate Tullamarine flu.
Yeah. So it'll be someone new on the weekend, but Bella Gray is a weapon as well. And I don't think it really matters whether she's on me or on someone else. She's got this really good ability to play one-on-one, but also drop off even the most dangerous opponent to take an intercept mark. So have a lot of respect for her. Hope I don't line up on her because she is a weapon and also a lovely person. Met her at the Big V and she was just a legend. Maybe she can go to Kate Stanton or Holly. We've got a few good forwards, so we've got that luxury that maybe good luck choosing which one to play on sort of thing.
Yeah, if I was old Scotch, I'd be playing on Kate Stanton, leave Sarah on her own in the goal square because Sarah's just a quiet player. She doesn't really have an impact. I'd go to Kate Stanton and just leave Sarah in the pocket, I reckon.
Dean Anderson is currently just furiously writing this down. as he's
Chase, I
listening.
haven't got one wrong this year. I haven't got one wrong. Sarah, you have an opportunity this weekend to create history on top of the history you guys created last year, on top of the history you created a couple of years before that when you went back-to-back. Last year it was 3 in a row. 4 in a row has obviously never been done in the women's competition, and you're 4 quarters away from it. Is that something that you've spoken about, you've thought about, even if it's just to a couple of your closest friends in the team? Has it been discussed this week?
I'll give you a very Tommy Purcell answer because he's such a team man and he always shies away from the accolades. But I think, no, truly, I do think the thing that keeps us so refreshed and revitalised each year is it's a new year, it's a clean slate. We don't really look back too much because, I don't know, I think we accept the new energy that comes into the group every year and we let that change us and we let that guide us. So it's definitely, no season ever feels the same. It really doesn't. This year, probably from the outside, doesn't look like it's been too different, but for us internally, it's been a really challenging year. So I think this potential premiership, it's going to mean a lot. And I think that's why we just look at this year, because our ability to overcome what we have this year and gel and bond as a team and potentially go again, it's so special within and of itself that the other 3 we won't even think about. We just feel so lucky to be in this position again, so grateful. And I think every week that we go out there, we just want to give honour and respect to how much everyone puts in, whether it's Tommy, the presidents, the girls on the sideline running water, the 2s, the 3s, the supporters. We just want to do them justice by getting up and putting out our best footy, win, lose or draw. So we'll look at this weekend by itself, its own game, its own year. The 4-peat, I'm sure if we get it, then we'll sort of maybe have that rah-rah, but definitely won't be something we discuss pre-game.
No, that's totally fair enough. Now, I've got a couple more before we let you go, and we thank you for your time. I was at the VFL and VFLW Awards night on Monday night, and they announced the Rebel VFLW Team of the Year, and one of your St Kevin's teammates, one of your Williamstown teammates, Eliza Strafford, was announced in the Team of the Year, Sarah, and I'm not sure if you've caught up with this. She was also announced the captain of that team in 2024. I know she's a great friend of yours and a nice little feather in the cap for the Strafford family.
Definitely. No, Liza's obviously a legend of Scob, of Willie, of the football community. She works at the AFL as well, so I'm pretty sure she will be one of the biggest names in women's footy and footy in general in the years ahead of us. But no, if you want me to be honest, the only reason I had any luck at Willie last year is because of Liz. And it, just as her teammate and as one of her best mates, I was pretty rocked that she wasn't in the Team of the Year last year anyway. And the leadership and the type of person she is, anyone who meets her will tell you that the Team of the Year wasn't a surprise and the captain was even less of a surprise. I'm personally so chuffed for Liz that she got that recognition and that accolade, but it was always coming. She's just that sort of person, and it's really nice to see that that's been publicly recognised. But the people around her and Liz, hopefully herself, knows how special of a person she is. So really good to see it recognised and really exciting for her too.
I couldn't disagree with that at all, and I was shattered, Jace, when I found out she'd torn her ACL either the week before the VFLW finals or a couple of weeks earlier, and she couldn't play in the Williamstown final series, and big loss for the Seagulls this year. Now, Sarah, I'm not sure if you've caught up with this. The great Anthony Plugger Lynch, of course, is leading the men's program and doing wonderful stuff. His old man's become a published author with the book The Saint-sational. It is covering the women's football program since 2016. What's all this about?
Plugger, Brian Lynch, he's awesome. He's vice president of SCOB, but he was a massive part in our previous premierships, and he thought it was so special what he saw. I think he sort of, I don't know, he's come from men's footy, so coming to see the women's football and seeing how unique and special it was in its own right, and also recognising the differences in how we operate as individuals in a team, I think he just really found that quite special and maybe not something he'd seen before. Especially after COVID, he could see how much the footy club bounded us and got each of us through as individuals and as a team. So he just wanted to document it. And that's pretty cool to have someone take so much interest in a team's success and a team's history that he actually called up every single player after that 2022 flag and interviewed every single one of us, wrote down all the notes, got together all the photos, collated all the quotes and put together a book that told the story of our 2022 flag, but also of our team really since day dot. So very grateful to Brian for doing that. He's awesome. So yeah, pretty cool to have someone take so much interest and put in so much time to document what's a really special part of the footy club, but also a lot of our lives. So very, very grateful to Plugger Lynch for doing that.
What is the essence of your football program, Sarah, your club?
What is the essence? I think the essence is love and care. I don't know how else to say it. People just come and they're just accepted with open arms. Easy to say when you're winning every week, but it's sort of like what came first, the chicken or the egg. But yeah, that's just it. Tommy Purcell is such a key driver to that, but pretty much everyone that comes down buys into that culture. So we both bang on about it a lot, me and Tom, but that's it. That's just it, that genuine care for each other will always be the measure of our success, and then the flags are just on top of that.
So speaking of the flags, this weekend, that big grand final against Old Scotch, what do you have to guard against? What are they good at, and how can they get you? What's on the radar that you've got to stop them doing?
I think they've got a lot of talent, and they've got some really good forwards as well. Mia Cowan's obviously a weapon, and Eloise Defina, just the way she moves, the way she can evade a tackle and get the ball forward, she is a genuine goal scorer and a very scary prospect for any defence. So definitely shut down a couple of their key forwards. And I feel like they're a pretty skillful side, so just trying to bring the ball to ground, keep it scrappy, keep it open, keep it a bit chaotic. And hopefully that'll be enough to do the job. But yeah, super nervous, super excited. This one feels massive. So I can't wait for the contest. Really, really hope it's us that comes out on top, but we'll just be, not really keen for the day. Can't tell you how bloody nervous I am, but it'll be good.
Just quickly with Sainsational, where can you get that book if you are so interested in
starting
popping it on the
point
bookshelf?
is scobfc.com. Just go through the honour roll first of every premiership the club's won in the last 7 years, and you'll find a link to the book.
I'll take you some
there.
time.
Go and find Plugger Lynch. He'd love to talk about it, especially when he's in the midst of getting ready for a prelim. Maybe just ask Sarah. In fact, Sarah, can you sign mine? If I buy one, can you sign mine personally?
Joey, I'm going to get you to sign mine.
All right.
You're biggest
All right,
fan.
that's enough.
All right, fade them down. That's enough.
How good is that? No one's ever asked me for my autograph before. I'd be more than happy to sign yours, Sarah. Now, we're going to have to add another chapter for St Kevin's win this weekend, won't we, Jace?
What about you?
Not about me. It's got nothing to do with me. It's St Kevin's. Paddy Mount might want one. Sarah, we're going to let you go because you've got a game to prepare for.
Before you let me go, who are your picks for the weekend?
Oh, you're asking me to tip?
Who have you got? Yeah, both of you. I'd love to hear.
Well, Jace doesn't pick anyone, so he'll be picking football as the
Jace,
winner.
come on.
He's too scared to pick a winner. I'm quite happy to pick St Kevin's.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I will too. I don't think you can tip against their form.
I'm quite happy to pick Sarah
And
Cameron
former
as my
great
first goal kicker. And probably my second goal kicker. Probably my best on ground. I think
thanks,
I'll pick
Joey.
Sarah Cameron.
Oh, okay.
And we're about
All right.
we're about to interview Mia Caffrey, so I'll just watch them pick. I'm going to pick Old Scotch. Yeah.
Oh,
No.
No, I'll be picking St Kevin's. I'll
Well,
tell
at
Mia.
least we've picked a team, Splinters.
I'll
that's
tell
true.
Mia. I said I've just spoken to Sarah Cameron and picked St Kevin's.
I look forward to cutting that from the record when we look to edit this.
Sarah, great to catch up with you. Great to see you back out there playing footy, and good luck this weekend. We look
thanks
forward to
so
watching
much.
it.
Thanks, Sarah. Best of luck.
Thanks, team. Catch ya.
Well, let's move away from St Kevin's for a moment and take a look at, the Scotch Stars, as they are known in the Ammo's women's program. We spoke to Dean Anderson a couple of weeks ago. The depth of the program, Jace, has got their reserve side also playing in a grand final this weekend. And Mia Caffrey is one of the stars of the Scotch Stars, and she's been good enough to join us. Hello, Mia.
Hi, how are you?
Going very well. How are you a few days out from what will be a history-making grand final if you are to walk off the ground winners?
Yeah, good. I'm really, really excited. Just getting ready for Sunday, really.
Has there been a sense of inevitability about this one, Mia? Not that you would ever take anything for granted, and I wouldn't suggest that you would, but obviously all year long, you and St Kevin's have been the dominant teams in the competition. So it's sort of been this feeling that if you both play your best footy, you're good enough to get there, and now you are there.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think especially after last year's finals, we kind of really had our eye on the grand final this year, and kind of getting there definitely has been a long road, but no, they are a massive competition for us. So, yeah, probably the main competition in the league, definitely. So,
What makes them?
been looking forward to it.
Sorry, mate. What makes them so difficult to play against? We know how successful they've been in recent seasons, but what's it actually like playing against this St Kevin's team?
I would definitely say there's stoppages. I think there's probably quite, in comparison to other teams, I think there's probably more stoppages than what we have when we play against like Caulfield. We played on the weekend. I feel like they have a very open game, and they, kind of like switch the ball quite a lot and like move along the lines. I feel like they're quite strong on pressure, so I think there ends up being a lot of stoppages when we play St. Kevin's. So I think that's a bit of a challenge for us, but
What did it mean to you to beat them in round 17? You got them by 5 points at home. What did that do for the confidence and belief of your group?
I think that was massive for us to kind of believe we could do it. But I think it was one of those things. It was like, it was really good that it happened then, but also like we got to do it again. So I think it meant a lot for everyone in the team. Kind of, we had a lot of belief. I think the same thing happened last year, but we beat them the first time we played them. But I think we got to work on kind of really when it matters. So I think that'll be the thing that'll drive us this week.
Where have you guys got better this year, Mia? Where do you feel like you're better equipped to take St. Kevin's down than you were, say, 12 months ago?
I would say just like all round, like our whole team, just everyone brings something different. And I think it's so valuable to have that in a team. And I think we work really well together. We have really good just like connection throughout all the lines. And I think it's really helped us this season, just kind of like playing our football. And I would say just everyone on the ground just brings something different and gives 100%, which I think makes such a difference. Not that they didn't last year, but I just think we've just gone to another level this year.
What does it look like when the game's on your terms? What style of footy does Old Scotch like to play?
I would say open and fast footy. I think we like to run the lines quite a bit. So a bit of give and go and,
Mia, can I ask you about... Just having a bit of a delay there. Mia, can I ask you about your own individual career? You're having a great time at Old Scotch, but over the last couple of years, you've been given the opportunity to play in the Big V jumper, and I'm pretty sure, if I've got it right, last year you were awarded the Spirit of the Big V award as one of the best players on the ground. I think your dad played in the Big V 25-odd years ago. Do you lean on him for the advice and how to go about playing your game and your style of footy?
Yeah, definitely. He's been really good, just like probably the whole time I've played footy, but definitely this year, just like I think it's hard when we've obviously had a couple of VFL players come in, and I think playing games like the Big V game, it's hard to play your own style and not get in your head kind of about what other people are doing. He's very helpful with that, just kind of reminding me of the things that I'm good at and like what I can bring. And he's great.
And what's it like playing under Dean Anderson, Mia?
Oh, it's amazing. He's a fantastic coach. Yeah, probably one of the best coaches I've had, like, in all the sports I've played. I think he just knows how to bring people together, like, and teams together really well, and kind of, like, have everyone go towards a common goal, which is really, I think it helps teams win because everyone's in it for each other. And I just feel like he's really good at that, like kind of bringing people together and motivating people in a way that they're like motivating themselves. Does that make sense?
He's the CEO of Leading Team, so he does that for a living as well. So wonderful for him to be able to bring that into your program, Mia. From a tactical perspective, so what I'm hearing from you is St. Kevin's like to keep it in tight and close, and they like contest to contest. You guys need to open the game up, and you like to have speed on the ball and get free-flowing run and carry and break the line. So from your perspective, when you guys are on top of St. Kevin's, how do you do that? How do you make sure that the game opens up when they're obviously going to try to bottle it up and force it into a contested situation?
I think for us it's probably just the 1%ers that everyone can do on the ground. I think hard running, like hands out, just like the little things I think that people don't see. I think that stuff like really lifts our group and helps us kind of get there. we'll have to see on the weekend, I think.
Now, Mia, a couple of the St Kevin's girls, Big V teammates of yours. Are you going to find yourself standing next to any of them at the first bounce on the weekend?
Yeah, quite a few of them actually. I think Bree will probably be in there, and Zara Gus, Kate Stanton. Who else is there? Sarah. The Rock.
Oh, Sarah Betts, yes.
Joyce. Sarah Betts. They're just really all around the ground, aren't they?
It's about 7 of them.
They're going to be everywhere. Are you prone to saying a few little verbals, or will you just let your footy do the talking?
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm quite silent on the ground. I just like to play, and then I just think that if I'm just able to play the game and, no one gets in my head, I don't get in, I don't know, I might get in other people's heads, but I don't say anything. I just play footy and, chat after the game.
Do you have a yapper in your group? Who's the talker in the group out on the field?
Oh, I don't know if I can give away names.
Just give us the numbers.
Pardon?
Just give us the jumper numbers then. We'll work it out for ourselves.
No, we can't be. No, everyone's pretty good, I think. So hopefully we keep our heads screwed on, which I think we've been quite good at. It keeps us in the game.
Now, Mia, just before you jumped on, we had a chat with Sarah Cameron about the fact that St Kevin's are playing off in their 4th straight grand final. They're looking for their 4th straight win as well. You were part of a Scotch team that won a premiership only 2 years ago. Are you drawing any experience on that grand final week and enjoying the moment and taking in the level of intensity that comes with playing in a grand final?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was incredible to win that Premier B premiership. I think it's a bit surreal. Like, we can't believe we've kind of made it here. But yeah, definitely same feelings, just really excited. I just think there's a lot of excitement around the club, especially with the reserves in, which is massive for us. I think we've just created such good depth in our club. So it's really good.
Well, we can't wait for it this weekend at Elsternwick Park. You go up against St Kevin's. As Jay said off the top, you've been the front runners all year long. We wish you well, and hopefully there's another premiership trophy headed to Camberwell Sports Park. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Jace, can't wait for it this weekend. Let's just, again, for anyone who may not have caught it while we were speaking to our guest today, the time and place for this William Buck Premier Women's Grand Final.
Double header. Premier Women's Reserves, Collegians versus Old Scotch, 11:30 Sunday at Elsternwick Park. So Old Scotch have got the double header into the Premier Women's Grand Final, St Kevin's versus Old Scotch, which you can see on KTV, Community TV, and free on vafa.com.au from Sunday, 2:30, Elsternwick Park.
Cannot wait for this game. I said it at the top, said it during talking to Sarah Cameron. We are looking at history on the back of history they made last year, being a three-peat. 4 flags in a row at any level. I don't care what level it is. That is simply astonishing.
Or can Old Scotch end the streak?
Question for you, Joey, because you know this St Kevin's team and this Old Scotch team just about better than anyone else. Can you give me a player just to keep an eye on, right? And I'm going to make it difficult for you. You can't pick Sarah Cameron.
Yep.
So someone outside of Sarah Cameron that we should be watching this weekend.
Yeah, well, at St Kevin's, I'll give you a few because one is fine, but I'll give you a few for people who either are coming out to the game or watching it on the live stream. I'll start with number 63 for St Kevin's, Sarah Betts. She is the ruck. She's been the big V ruck for the last 2 years. Great player. Starts with her at the source. She can then hit it down to number 2, Bree Doyle, the big V captain of the last 2 years. Accumulates the footy like none other. You've got Kate Stanton, last year's best and fairest player in the competition. She wears number 1. And then you've got Jess Joyce in the number 10 is another star. And I also see Scarlett Donnell, who was one of the original St Kevin's girls, back in this team. She wears number 41. So there is the St Kevin's players that I would be keeping an eye on. Mind you, the whole team is stacked with talent. And just watch Tommy Purcell if you're at the ground. Keep an eye on how his energy levels go up and down on the bench. On the flip side, for Scotch, before you go, number 1, Jade Wise, is a superstar. And at number 2, Millie Fraser-Smith kicks goals regularly. Number 5, Emily Tassiopoulos. She's played some VFLW football
Anytime Fitness Rising Star nominee last week.
throughout the year and in good form.
Yeah, won a flag with the Oakley Chargers last year as well, so he could go 2023 flag in the Coates Talent League 2024 and Vaffa William Buck.
Sarah Cameron mentioned Eloise Defina, number 21, who is another star in this team. Number 27, Mia Caffrey, who we spoke to a little bit earlier on, and unfortunately she won't be there. Nadia von Bertusch, but the other one is...
I've got one for you, Mia Cowan. 2 goals in a big V jumper earlier this season. She was super up forward. 2 goals against Caulfield in the prelim. I reckon you can just write her in for another 2 in the granny.
Jordan Mifsud's another one.
And you talk about the depth of both these teams. You look at the top 12 players in the competition this year in terms of how many times players polled coaches' votes. Of the top 12 players in this competition of Premier Women's this year, there's only one St Kevin's player and one Old Scotch player. Brie Doyle polled votes in 13 of her 18 games, and Mia Caffrey polled votes in 13 of her 18 games. So it just shows the depth of talent and how much they spread across the entire team on all lines, that it's not always the same players every week getting the job done. They share the load magnificently, and that's why both these teams are just so difficult to beat, because you might sit on one player and have a great day and that matchup's working for you, but someone else can pop up and do some damage.
Can't wait for it on Sunday. Last thing we've got to do for Inside the Boundary before we wrap it up for the week, give our selections.
Well, I'm staying with St Kevin's, as I said on the phone. I'm just wondering if you'll stay the same way. I'm pretty sure you will. Oh, you're going to go to Jace first.
I'm pointing at Jace.
You know how this is going to end up.
Yep.
Extra time. Can't be separated.
Yeah, who will win it, though?
And then what
They might just keep playing.
Okay.
Footy will
Oh,
be
yeah.
there.
I don't think that'll happen, Jason. I'm not sure the lights will be able to keep going. The council somewhere in Elsternwick will turn it off. I'm going for St Kevin's, as I said. Sarah Cameron will kick the first goal. Sarah Cameron will kick the second goal. Sarah Cameron will be the best on ground. You got a best on ground player?
Oh, can I go Emily Tassiopoulos in a losing side?
Oh, you can.
Why
Yeah,
not?
why not? You can, absolutely. Inside the Boundary is your place to go for all the results across the women's competition, vaffa.com.au. For all the others, congratulations to every other premier throughout the girls' season. We'll have all of them done by this weekend, and we will see you again next year.